week 9 of the fantasy basketball season, and he has a few guards I will look to trade or sell high this week. The first guy is D'Angelo Russell of the Minnesota Timberwolves. So the news came down yesterday that Russell, he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with the knee injury and the knee surgery with loose bodies in his knee. And on the season, D-Russ, he was ranked 96, was D-Lo. 19.3 points a game, 2.6 rebounds, 5.1 assists, 1.1 steals a game, 3 threes a game, 75% from the foul line, and 42% from the field. So D-Lo, we know he's a pure scorer. We know he's a good three-point shooter, but now with this injury, he's going to be out to probably week 15, week 16 of the season, and that's a long way from now for Russell and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And it's a big hit for their ball club, even though their team has been struggling pretty much the whole season. In the last few weeks, Russell, his stats did take a dip before he got hurt, and he's been out 15.7 points a game, 2.3 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 2.7 threes a game, and he shot in the last few weeks before the injury 48% from the field, which was an upgrade for Russell. But now with him out, I would just try to trade him for anything of decency at this point, especially if you're down there in the standings and you need some solid players to actually play some games for your fantasy team. I know Russell's good, but he's definitely a player I will look to sell off this week because we don't know how he's going to come back, and we don't know if he could beat the timetable or be on time with the timetable for 4 to 6 weeks. So he's the first guard I will look to sell off and trade this week. The second guy is Fred VanVleet. There's a lot of people have been commenting and saying VanVleet, he's legit. He's the man over there in Toronto, and these stats, they're going to keep up. But in my opinion, I don't think it's going to stick for VanVleet on the season. He's ranked 15th in fantasy basketball, 20.4 points a game, 4.2 rebounds, 6.6 assists, 1.7 steals, 3.3 threes a game, 41% from the field. And in the last few weeks, his shooting percentage has dropped a little more too. He's 40% from the field, 20.3 points a game, 3.9 rebounds, 7.7 assists, 1.6 steals, 3 threes a game for VanVleet. And obviously he exploded for a 54-point game on February 2nd where people, were going out of control and saying VanVleet's the real deal. But the last few games, it hasn't been all that great for him. February 10th at Washington, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 turnovers, and 2 threes. February 11th at Boston, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 11 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Then February 14th versus Minnesota, he picked it up a little. 22 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 threes. And then at Milwaukee last night, 33 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 5 threes. So VanVleet, he's scoring the basketball well, but we've also seen the inconsistencies in the last 2 out of the 4 games for him. And right now, his value is at an all-time high pretty much, besides the 54-point game he came off of. And I think you could get a lot for VanVleet. He's shooting the 3 ball this season a lot. He's scoring the basketball at a great pace, no doubt about it. But I just don't think these stats are going to hold up for VanVleet. And I could see a lot of mediocre games along the way for him in the next few weeks. So if I could get a decent package for him, well, a nice 1-for-1 deal where both managers just want to change the scenery with their team and players, that's the type of deal you make. By no means you dump VanVleet, but if the right deal's there and you could sell him high, this is the time to do it. The next guard I'd look to sell high is Terry Rozier of the Charlotte Hornets. Rozier, he's been on this list a few times this season, the sell high list. On the season, he's ranked number 26 in fantasy basketball, 20.6 points a game, 4.1 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.3 steals, 3.5 threes a game, 49% from the field, and 79% from the foul line. And in the last 2 weeks, he's ranked 7th overall in this time is Terry Rozier with a whopping 27.3 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 1.2 steals a game, a nice 4.2 threes a game, and 52% from the field. So he's been going off. He's got 3 games in a row now is Scary Terry with 30 or more points, and I don't think it's going to hold up. When Devontae Graham comes back, he's going to get the playing time. Now the Hornets, they're going to be off the next 2 games, and they won't play till the 20th because of postponements. But Scary Terry, he's been a great ball player, but we saw it on early in the season, and then his numbers dropped off. So his value's at peak value right now, and he's definitely a sell-high player. February 10th versus Memphis, 34 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 6 threes. February 12th versus Minnesota, he went off with 41 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 6 3-pointers. And then February 14th versus San Antonio, 33 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, a block, and 3 threes. So this is the perfect time, in my opinion, to sell off Terry Rozier with these big ball games in the last 3. And now you're not going to have him until the 20th, which is another 3 days. You won't be playing until Saturday for your fantasy team. And that's a long time now to miss 6 games in between games, and Graham should be back. So I think you could sell off Terry Rozier high, either in a 1-for-1 deal or a package deal. The next guard I would look to sell off is DeMar DeRozan of the San Antonio Spurs. DeRozan, he's been surprisingly good this season in fantasy circles and fantasy basketball, with the assist numbers going up. The shooting percentage pretty solid as well this season for DeRozan. On the year, he's ranked 39th in fantasy basketball, 19.8 points a game, 5 rebounds, a whopping 7 assists, 89% from the foul line, and 48% from the field. And in the last few weeks, his numbers have been even better. 20.7 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, 7.5 assists, 93% from the foul line, and his field goal percentage stayed the same at 48. So he's passing the ball well. He's scoring the basketball like we see him score usually, 20, 22 points a game for DeRozan, and he's playing good for this team in San Antonio, which it don't surprise me. They're 16-11 this season because Greg Popovich, he always has these guys playing well, and they always get the job done and make the playoffs every season. But the problem with DeRozan now, they're not going to play another game in San Antonio till February 24th, and that's 10 days in between games. And I don't think the assist numbers, they're going to stay up there for DeMar DeRozan anyway, in my opinion. But the last 3 games, they haven't been all that great either. February 9th versus Golden State, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 36% from the field. February 12th at Atlanta, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 63% from the field. And then February 14th at Charlotte, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals. So DeRozan, like I said, he's getting other categories. His assists are up this season, but now we're missing a lot of games until February 24th, and him just playing over his head, in my opinion. I don't think these stats are going to stay up, and he's not going to play as good. And you definitely could sell him off high this week. And the 5th and final guard I look to sell off and trade this week is his teammate, DeJounte Murray of the San Antonio Spurs. Murray, he's been good this season as well, but we've seen Derek White return. And obviously, like I mentioned with DeRozan, the Spurs, they're not going to play a ball game till this February 24th on the season. He's ranked number 58, 15 points a game, 7.2 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.6 steals, a 3 a game, 81% from the foul line, and 44% from the field. But the last 2 weeks, his rankings jumped up to 23 in that time, 17.2 points a game, 7.7 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 2.5 steals, 1.2, 93% from the foul line, 44% from the field. So Murray, he's been playing well. He's been playing good basketball. The numbers are up there, and a lot of people expected him to be a breakout star in fantasy basketball this season, and that's exactly what Murray's doing. His last 3 games, though, they've been pretty decent. Nothing special except one of the 3. February 9th at Golden State, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. February 12th at Atlanta, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, and 2 threes. And February 12th at Charlotte, a nice double-double, 26 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. So Murray, his value's up there at the peak, which it could be right now. And he's another guy I think you could trade off and get a guy who's struggling, who could bounce back. And like I said, he's not going to play a game till next week, midweek, is DeJounte Murray. So you're going to miss him the rest of this week in fantasy and most of next week as well. So I would definitely try to sell him high. And that's a few guards I would look to sell high or trade here in Week 9 of the fantasy basketball season.